Start. Hello everyone. Here's the my first of my series of two coaches for the price of one. Yay! Uh, and today I would like to introduce you to Anke Hermann, who lives in beautiful Spain, and she's the entrepreneur extraordinaire because she's doing all kinds of things, tech whiz, and beautiful coach, excellent coach, and all kinds of other things that she does. And yeah, maybe you can introduce yourself, Anke. Tell more about yourself.
Thank you. Thanks for having me to start with. It's such a fabulous idea. And so, yeah, I'm from Germany originally, in case you've been wondering. And I have been living in Spain for 16 years now. And I came here with the crazy idea of, wouldn't it be cool to have a sewing business for flamenco costumes? And I threw myself into that adventure with a lot of enthusiasm and very little idea of anything. And so as you can imagine, it's been quite a ride, and there were a few lessons and challenges that I didn't see coming. And I expected I basically expected that maybe Spanish flamenco dancers won't order a dress from, this German woman who comes here pretending she knows it all. And that didn't turn out to be a problem. What I didn't expect was that I would end up totally burned out 8 years later, because my lovely clients would basically suck the life out of me. And it really got to that breaking point where I thought, you know what, if living your dream, if that's what that is, I want nothing to do with it. And I had a bit of a meltdown, really. And in my frustration, I said something that really kind of stopped me in my tracks. It was along the lines like, I can't stand my clients, and my life would be so much easier if I could just change my flamenco dancers. And that's when I realized, like, hang on, what am I talking about here? There's something, I'm not seeing this right. And really noticing how, like seeing through the story that I had basically made up myself and taken as reality, this is the way things are and there are no other options. And really seeing that, well, actually I had created my own pressure. I had created my own hamster wheel. And so that was like a huge insight and a huge turnaround that actually got me then also on that path. Well, boy, I want to support other people who are on that path of, I want to do what, I want to follow my heart. I don't want to be on the 9 to 5 kind of like, this isn't my thing. But find that our upbringing doesn't really prepare us for what's in store when you start out on your own. And so really I wanted to support other people so they wouldn't have to go back, with their tail between their legs back to that job that they hated enough to leave it. So that's where all that came from. And I stumbled across the inside out understanding in the search of how can I best support other people. That's how I stumbled across it. And it was like, oh, that explains everything. So
yeah, and you're doing well. You're a coach, you do podcasts, and you help entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So and I think it's also been that journey of allowing myself to bring everything in, because I mean my background was in software development, and and then I went away totally 180 degrees into this full-on creative thing. I mean, still always using the tech skills. I want a website, I can build one. I want to start a podcast. Yeah, I know how that works. And so the tech stuff has been really helpful. And but the focus was really on the creative thing, and then the focus was like on the coaching, sorry, that's the dog. And so there was always like the focus on one aspect of it, until I realized, well, actually I can bring more to the table and I can support somebody else more when I allow myself to bring everything in. Right. So so that's why how the tech stuff's come back into my life, and I'm like a kid in a candy store. So I really, really enjoy that part and really taking the struggle out of that for people, because it's often something that is in the way of people doing what they actually want to do.
Good. You mentioned a few times the inside out understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in Spain, so you're in the middle of that beautiful pandemic, with the lockdown and everything. How does that understanding help you going through that?
Well, it prevents me from getting sucked into the rabbit hole of fear and anxiety and worry. And I'm thinking, well, in you know, when everything changes around you and you don't really know what's going to happen, like there's really two things you need. Is you need like a strong immune system and you need your creativity, right? And both of those are severely crushed and inhibited when your mind is busy worrying and trying to predict the future, trying to control circumstances. And when you know, like in your bones, know that you can't control that stuff. Like it takes a lot of your mind, and it's, and you also know that, well, actually, you know what, everything seems so uncertain and so insecure now, but actually we've never ever been more secure than we are now. We've never ever had more certainty than we have now. It's just like now it's harder to kid yourself. It's harder to, you know, buy into the illusion of certainty. So at the end of the day, from that angle, nothing's really changed. And understanding how we create our own reality through, I always like to say it like through the filter of thought. When you see that, it's like, oh well, yeah, you know. And when you have less on your mind, you can be creative, and your stress levels have done. And I would swear that actually has even a physical health impact. It's like your stress level is down, which means your immune system isn't compromised by the stress. So I think you probably even on from that angle get through it easier. But definitely, and I mean, there will be moments, especially, you know, when other people in the house have the news on all day. So there, you know, there are moments when you can sort of be caught by that fear of like, what's going to happen, what, you know. But then you don't get sucked into that. Like you, at some point you catch yourself, and even while you're in the middle of it, you kind of know, oh, I'm getting myself into a spin here, but you're not. It's like you're still watching it play out like a movie. You know, I can watch a thriller movie and I can get scared and I can cry with when the puppy dies, and I can go through all of that, but still at the heart of it, I know I'm sitting there watching a movie. It's a little bit like that, so that it gives you that little distance between what's going on, and so you're not getting lost in that quicksand of fear and worry and anxiety. So
You
I
bounce back
definitely,
much more resilient.
absolutely, yeah, you catch yourself and you can come back to, well, actually, you know, I'm still here. You know, like right now I'm still here, and I've never known anything more than that.
And there's all there is to know, really, is
Yeah,
the now.
yeah. So I definitely feel that it is a huge help in getting through kind of anything really.
So I know I'm not into tricks and 3Ps. I'm not trick base. But if there was one advice that you would like to tell people, what would that be?
Advice for dealing with the
To stay
crisis, or
calm and zen.
hmm.
Well, zen might be a stretch, but calm.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that jumps to mind is really just focusing on the 5 minutes in front of you, right? Rather than kind of allowing your mind to, but what if like next month, and what if this goes on, and what if in August we're still here, like how might, that's when you get yourself into. But if you say, okay, right now I can feel my butt on the chair, the dog's growling and grumbling down the bottom here, and we're okay. Right now we're okay. And let's just take the next 5 minutes, and then the next 5 minutes. And that what Jamie Smart always talks about, that beautiful, and that image was so, it hit home for me so strongly. It was, you don't need to see the whole road in front of you. It's like driving at night in the fog. You
Yeah.
can only see a handful, like one hand in front of you, and that's all you need. You can do the whole journey like that.
It's true. This is one of his favorite quotes.
Yeah, yeah. And it's always resonated with me, because I sometimes kind of thought, well, maybe, like I built my sewing business like that. Without being aware of it, I just took one day at a time. Let's just see whether I can get somebody to buy a skirt of me. Then let's just see the next thing and the next thing, and just one thing at a time. And I never had this big, 5-year vision thing, because I always thought there's so many assumptions that can be wrong. There's so many things that I can only guess, that it's kind of a waste of my time to even worry about that. And I sometimes felt that I was lacking strategy or strategic thinking, and perhaps I was, but taking one step at a time, I think, is really it's helpful more than anything.
Did it work for you?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Anke, for your time.
Well, thank you for having
I
me.
really enjoyed it. And I wish you the best of luck in the rest of all your beautiful projects.
Well, thanks so much.
Oh,
Wishing you the same. Yes.
yes. I'll put a link also to your podcast.
Oh, yeah. That would be lovely. Thank you.
Okay, so if people feel to hear more from Anke, I'll put a link to our podcast.
That's fabulous. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you, Anke.